So we're picking up here in chapter 5, and this is the first time you dive into the KGB point of view, and you are finding that this relentless, merciless agent that you have been following for the past couple pages is really more human than you would have ever thought, and she's got a little bit of a connection to our heroes. The feeling of crossing the finish line was always the same. Nicola's stomach knotted and her heart beat against her ribs. She huffed, wiping the sweat from her brow. Finishing a run was euphoric. Painful, but euphoric. She rejoiced in the accomplishment and the burn of lactic acid. She pulled her hair down from its ponytail and started towards the women's locker room. Soon enough, the building would fill with agents from all walks of life, and Nicola would be at her desk, filing paperwork. It was frustrating being an administrative, but they said it was necessary for her to work her way up the clearance level ladder. The silence of the locker room was a calming aspect of the gym. It wasn't silence with machines running in the background, the TV playing on low, or dogs running across linoleum in the kitchen. It was true, dead silence. There was something meditative about it. Speaking of meditative, Nicola needed to purge. She walked into the bathroom stall casually and then checked over her shoulder one last time before sinking to the ground. She sat there for a while like she was waiting for a Pavlovian retch of the stomach. Eventually, as the post-run nausea settled in, Nicola stuck 2 fingers down her throat. She dry-heaved once, bile retching its way up the esophagus. She dry-heaved again and braced herself on the rim of the toilet with her free hand. This sent her crashing into the bathroom floor. She slipped from the sweat on her palm. "Christ," she grunted, her hand grazing her now bleeding nose. Nicola coughed in between deep breaths. She shook, pulled herself back up, and dry-heaved until bile, mixed with blood, mixed with sweat. She purged until her throat was raw from the acid and she felt truly empty inside. This was also euphoric. She flushed away the lost contents of her stomach and walked out of the bathroom stall as though nothing had happened. At the sink, she let the water run for a moment before pooling it in her hands. It was hot and welcome on her cool skin. The blood dried and spit came off her face and vanished down the drain, the evidence gone. She kept her hands under the water until blood broke through the dry skin of her knuckles. After rubbing her hands raw, she shut the sink off and went to the shower. It was quick and cold. Once done, she walked into the locker bay, opening her own locker and grabbing her work clothes. Her small frame looked skeletal in the tight-fitting dress. When she looked at herself in the mirror, she instinctively dug the tips of her weak fingernails into the palm of her hand. The running, the purge, it made her feel powerful. This made her feel trapped. Frustration bubbled up. Nicola was 1 inch from a panic attack when the sound of an unfamiliar voice sent her reeling. "Hello." The woman's voice sounded smooth, like a pan of melted chocolate. Nicola would recognize it anywhere. It was America's own femme fatale, Diana Riley, code name, the Goddess.